Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you about how low I personally believe Bitcoin will go over the course of this short to medium term correction. So talking like a week or so in terms of general time horizon. As you guys know, I'm an absolute Bitcoin bull. I truly do believe that Bitcoin will serve a very important role in the future of the global financial markets. But that said, it doesn't mean that it isn't a little overextended in the short term. And as I always say, that corrections are a healthy part of every bull market. In a bull market like this, you guys, volatility is to be expected. But again, long-term bullish, although I am short-term bearish. I do think Bitcoin will ultimately cross six figures by the end of 2021, but we're talking short to medium term here, and I'm seeing more downside ahead. So let's get into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. So in front of us, trading view, we're going to keep it simple today, you guys. I'm just going to be talking strictly technicals, talking about where I think Bitcoin is going on the downside and giving you guys my downside price targets. All right, so trading view, we will touch on Bitcoin, and then after Bitcoin, we're actually going to touch on the DXY, because that's actually a very important metric in determining where a lot of the market, not just Bitcoin, will go. And I'll actually talk about this in tomorrow's Sunday Stock Watch as well, okay? So again, we'll cover Bitcoin. You see a lot going on here. This poor head and shoulders, I do believe, will play out on the medium term. This is a pretty textbook looking head and shoulders, in my opinion. This guy's sad, but at least he's looking pretty thick, so he has that going. But again, ultimately, there are multiple factors aside from the head and shoulders. We are seeing a short-term inverse bull flag, so a bear flag playing out right now. And there's just some multiple things that lead me to believe and make me very confident in the fact that we will ultimately see pretty much a 39,000 to 41,000 Bitcoin, just as a general price range. So right off the bat, gave you my targets, but again, I will go into elaborate why I think that. But before we dive into the charts, I will, as always, ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Hit that beautiful little notification bell as well. And of course, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link in the description if you want to know exactly how I'm trading Bitcoin, all cryptos, crypto-related stocks, options, call options, put options, literally everything. And especially considering I do think the overall markets are going down, I actually do have some put options in place for the first time in a while. So again, if you want to know exactly what my portfolio is comprised of, I do update this every single trading day during market hours. And with every update, I also send out a pretty comprehensive newsletter rationalizing my thoughts, explaining to you guys why I'm trading what I'm trading, and just letting you guys know what I think is important at the time of market hours, okay, and while I'm trading stuff, okay? So $15 a month if you guys are interested. If not, though, as always, no worries at all. Let's get into these charts, okay? So of course, we got to touch on the head and shoulders, and then after we talk about this head and shoulders that is looking like a pretty textbook head and shoulders in all honesty, I'll get rid of that because it is a little distracting. We'll talk some general trend lines and stuff, all right? So head and shoulders, of course, you guys, is one of the most easily identifiable probably patterns in the entire market in all of TA. Head and shoulders is comprised of a left shoulder. So you see this big move up right here. Again, this guy's looking thick, so at least he has that going for him. Left shoulder right here, head, and followed by a right shoulder, which I do believe will play out. So again, this would be, I could almost consider this a lower high on the overall rally if it weren't for a few factors. One is that this candle came down to pretty much test this candle right here. So this immediately eliminates the lower high. And on the short term, so let's get rid of this right here. You guys get the point. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is Bitcoin man, all right? So Bitcoin man sad just in the short term, you guys keep in mind. Long term, my long-term bullish sentiment remains unchanged in the slightest. Corrections, healthy part of every bull market. So let's get rid of all this actually. Boop, boop. This is a lot more lines than I thought, you guys. Sorry. Let's get rid of these guys. But we can keep the Bitcoin there because that is still relevant. Of course, this is Bitcoin, all right? So get rid of that. We can leave that other one over there just to save time. All right, so multiple things lead me to believe that Bitcoin is still in a primarily the head and shoulders. Yeah, this is a very, very textbook head and shoulders, to be honest. We have eliminated the higher lows on a short term. So when you do break a higher low pattern in a short to medium term bull market like Bitcoin's been seeing over the past few weeks, obviously aside from this past week of carnage, then that's usually a sign that we will see, like I've been saying, this short to medium term reversal, all right? And it's just looking very clear to me. As of right now, actually Bitcoin from its peak, from this high over here is definitely still in downtrend. So we're probably on the top side of this range. We can actually be following this, and this is actually I think this will act as a very significant, let's make this red just to make it give a little contrast. I think this line will ultimately come into play, and that's even another factor that's just leading me to believe that this will play out. Okay, so now that we are in correction mode, the primary reason you guys can see this downside price target, which is where I'm personally comfortable buying Bitcoin, again, around the $39,000 to $41,000 range. I'd personally go for $41,000. A lot of people are going to be looking at 39 to 40K on the dot, regardless. So don't get greedy. Again, if the market's anticipating it, you want to be one step ahead. So that's just a little tip. And that principle goes not only for Bitcoin, but literally every other asset you're going to play in the entire markets. All right. So a big reason that I do believe Bitcoin will ultimately come down and play out this head and shoulders right here. We could go a little higher. That's just another reason to make like 41,000-ish, the 41, 42K, a little more conservative, because that would lead Bitcoin to ultimately test its previous high on the overall rally. Okay, so you can see here, got another big old B over here. You can see again, beginning December 17th, when we've seen this crazy, pretty much parabolic rally that we're currently still on, it would make sense to me that we ultimately come down to test the previous high. That's a very standard like 101 rule of bull markets, of hype cycles, of FOMO rallies, etc. And again, you guys, I still believe Bitcoin's going up, but in a market like this, it's very, very common to retest the previous high of the current rally that you're on, okay? So the absolute high around here, which I wouldn't be surprised, again, if we hit like 42K, is my conservative price target for Bitcoin on the downside. At 42K, I'm personally comfortable buying Bitcoin, which again is another like 8 to 10% down from where we're currently at now. So Bitcoin, 42K, that would also come pretty close to the overall line of support on Bitcoin's uptrend. Okay, so using this line right here, using a couple touch points right here, this is definitely the line of support on the overall uptrend. So Bitcoin is in a very like megaphone like ascending channel. So that means it's not just going like that, it's going like that. All right, so as you guys can see, Bitcoin is in this beautiful like megaphone ascending channel, which also kind of lines up. This area of support is a little bit lower. If we touch it on March 9th, if we do go sideways and then ultimately collapse around the 9th, that would actually perfectly coincide with this head and shoulders pattern. It would be a little more of an elongated head and shoulders pattern at that point, but it would also come down to test again this initial high, the previous high of the rally that we're currently on. Okay, so it's again, you guys, it's very, very likely to me that over the next couple days actually we'll probably test this initial high. Maybe we end up coming a little bit lower, consolidating a little bit. It's likely we'll see some sideways movement prior to going up. I know you can see this arrow right here, that was just to make it look a little cleaner, but I realistically think that it'll take a few days of sideways price action, of people getting a little more comfortable with buying back into the market after such a pretty significant correction, because this is over the course of when things are going up, it seems like they'll just go up forever. But again, you guys, that's not how markets work. That's not how life works. That's not how anything works. Nothing just goes up. There's always going to be some storm clouds on the horizon at some point. But again, the storm passes and makes room for bluer skies ultimately. So I do think we'll come down pretty soon. We probably will follow this line of resistance. If we break through it, maybe we'll see a little pop up, but ultimately I do think we'll see some sideways price action and ultimately come down to 39 to 41,000. All right, and that is going to be my downside price target for Bitcoin. And I'm again, always know, you guys, my money is on what I'm saying here, but just wanted to make a simple video for you guys just to clarify, because so many of the Bitcoin blockchain related stock plays are obviously going to be negatively impacted by this. In tomorrow's Sunday Stock Watch video, I will be covering, which I'm actually recording right after this, but in tomorrow's Sunday Stock Watch video, I will be talking about pretty much just hedges. Okay, so a lot of my portfolio personally is comprised of hedges. Obviously, I do hold long-term Bitcoin positions, GBTC stock, certain stock positions that I don't touch at all. Those are my long-term plays, the long game plays. Keep the diamond hands on those. But again, just because Bitcoin's price action obviously will have an impact on so much of our favorite stocks that we talk about here on the channel, like Riot, Mara, so many of these Bitcoin crypto related stock plays. I do want to let you guys know where I think Bitcoin is going and ultimately how long I think this correction will last. Okay, so correction's already spanned about a week. Again, in a bull market, overall bull market, like a 10 to 14 day, so like a 2-week correction is like nothing out of the ordinary. I've seen many of those in the past and many of the bubbles that I've played. So again, I'm personally very confident in this. Keep in mind, you guys, this is still just my opinion. Maybe we reverse. Maybe we just go straight up from here because the fundamentals still remain strong. The stimulus just got passed by the House. It's going to the Senate right now. But I personally also think that the stimulus has been priced in. Again, I'll cover an article that touches on that in tomorrow's episode of Sunday Stock Watch as well, and just talk more about how I think the stimulus is priced in. Okay. So yeah, we'll call it there, you guys. Take a quick look at the DXY, because keep in mind, you guys, if the dollar is going up, the dollar is actually looking very, very strong right now, and seeing a reversal because it's seen absolute carnage. It's gotten pounded over the course of 2020, like 2020 and the beginning of 2021. So I do think we're actually seeing a short to medium term reversal in the dollar. And again, this is a bad sign as well, and furthers kind of my theory that the stimulus package is already priced in. For now, at least, just because we're seeing the dollar rise on good news regarding the stimulus, all right? So again, I'm pretty much going to repeat myself tomorrow in all honesty, but again, this is important, and this is definitely something that I want you guys to look at, and that I look at a lot personally, but I don't talk about enough, and I want to start talking about it more. I apologize for not covering this enough with you guys, because it's very important regarding not only Bitcoin, but literally every single asset on the planet that's not the dollar. Gold, silver, literally everything, commodities. So there's a couple of things here. Let's as we zoom out here, you guys can look, you guys can see how much carnage the dollar has experienced over the course of time. So a big, just kicking it off with a macro right here, the dollar is actually above a very significant line of resistance on the overall downtrend. So you can see here multiple touch points here, obvious line of resistance on the long-term downtrend. Broke above that, and it is now using previous resistance as new support. So TA 101, previous resistance ultimately becomes new support. We can see it doing that, and the dollar is actually printing a little bit. It's looking like higher lows here, the macro at least. So you see a high, see, this is the ultimate low right here, low, high, coming down low. It's looking like it's reversing, and on the daily candle, we're actually seeing a very strong day for the dollar. 0.83, like when you're getting up to 1% as far as the dollar, like the DXY is concerned, that's very bullish. You can see the Stokes, the 4 hours, the daily Stokes actually curling up, which is a very, very bullish sign, which gives me ultimate reason to believe that we will ultimately set a higher high here. Again, low, high, higher low. Ultimately, I think we'll set a higher high over the course of the next week or so. I think the dollar, with this kind of volume here, with this momentum, the dollar, that's a big candle, you guys. The dollar could definitely see a significant move up to I think, test at least 92.5. If we do hit it like mid-March, March 15th, that would take us to almost a $93, okay? And that's very significant, a 2%. I mean, yeah, 2% jump up is significant when it comes to the dollar. And I don't know if we will execute a reversal here. We'll definitely see some resistance around this area right here, just because this is this trend line is very, very obvious in play. You see multiple touch points here on the short to medium term uptrend. So I think it's very likely that the S&P goes down, the Dow goes down, NASDAQ, Russell, Bitcoin, gold, silver. I think everything will decline in value as the dollar increases in value over the course of the next week or so. I do think ultimately all of this will be resolved by mid-March, because again, these things don't last forever. Inflation is still a very real thing. The dollar is still being printed, especially with that stimulus. But I do think that the stimulus was priced in a little bit, and it'll take until like Americans actually get these $1,400 checks that should be coming out to kind of reverse the market. And I saw Biden was talking about like March 14th. He wanted to buy March 14th because that's when a lot of the unemployment benefits end. Biden wants to get that signed and get the checks out to people. But until then, you guys, we're reliving the 1-year anniversary of kind of the market crash, and I think ultimately pretty much every asset that is not the dollar will do poorly over the course of this coming week. But again, it's only temporary. It's only temporary. Volatility is to be expected in bull markets, and we are in one of the craziest, not just Bitcoin, but one of the craziest bull markets as a whole of all time. So corrections are to be expected. Again, embrace that volatility. You can make volatility. Volatility is your friend if you know how to play it, which, again, I will cover all that good stuff tomorrow in the stock watch with the hedge positions and stuff. So I appreciate you guys watching this. Please let me know what you think about Bitcoin, where you think it's going. If you think my price target's a little low, if you think we're going to reverse right now, if you're a little scared about some of the stocks, if you're holding stocks going into next week, just let me know. Always gonna be here for you guys. Always love talking shop with you guys and learning from you guys. So I'll catch you downstairs in the comments section. I appreciate you watching once again. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace. Have a great weekend, guys.